Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Pi-hole, a pretty cool application we found to help us block a lot of advertisements while we're surfing the internet. From what I'm reading here, it's a pretty cool application that's easy to install, simple command line, and I'm sure followed by a wizard that will give us a couple steps and setup options. The cool thing about this is that it's advertised to improve our network performance, so I'm sure that our surfing experience will be a lot cleaner and faster instead of having to wait for all those ads to come up and pop up on us, trying to sell us something that we don't want as usual. It looks like we're also having a cool web admin interface. Looks like there's pretty cool graphics that gives us statistics, I'm guessing. Anything that has to do with the ads that are blocked or performance or domain information that we may want to see that is being blocked by Pi-hole. As explained earlier, it's a pretty cool, simple installation. It's supported by the major distros, Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, and of course Raspberry Pi. You're also able to set this up as a DNS server, and as all free applications, you're able to donate to make this product continue evolving and evolving. You're able to donate to help improve the product, and hopefully you're able to see the install and how easy it is to set up.
Hey guys, so the environment for us to perform and install this application, we spin up a VM EXI host, and then it's running an Ubuntu 18.04. The VMware EXI says version is 6.7. We've allocated 2 CPUs, and then it's running 2 gig of memory with a storage of 27.7 gigabytes.
Okay, so we're going to install Pi-hole on this Ubuntu VM. So all you need to do is either copy paste the command on the Pi-hole website, or you can type it out yourself. So this command runs through the installer. It will install the packages that's necessary to run this application for you, and will also download any other dependencies that are missing. So this is the installer for Pi-hole. We're going to continue here. Because Pi-hole is free, they do take donations for the project to continue. So little hint there for you. In this demo, we're not using a static IP address. If you're going to use this at home, it is advisable to use and set the static IP. So this is just a reminder to do so. At this point, we get to choose an upstream DNS provider. All of your clients will do name resolution against Pi-hole, but Pi-hole needs to forward and do name resolutions upstream from there. So you get to choose whether you want Google, OpenDNS, Level 3, or if you have a preferred DNS server that is not listed, you can choose custom. You can always change this after installation. And in order to block all of the ads, Pi-hole relies on third-party lists. All of these lists are selected automatically. If you choose not to use any specific one, you just select it and press space. That just selects the list. In this case, we're going to go with all of the lists that is provided. Okay. If you are using IPv6, you can also block IPv6. In this case, I'm going to deselect it, and we're going to continue with the install. Because this has a DHCP IP address, it's showing you, do you want to use this particular IP? In this case, I'm using 192.168.2.101/24 with a gateway with .1, which is correct. And then this is another reminder, because I am using DHCP, it's saying it can get reused and cause some conflicts. In this case, since this is a demo, we're going to proceed. Here we're going to install the web admin interface, which is necessary to view and manage Pi-hole. And obviously we need the web server to be installed, so we're going to say yes. We're going to log and keep all of the name resolution queries, so we're going to say on. Now at this point it's doing the installation of all the dependencies and all the packages. Okay, installation is complete. Here is the IP address that it is using, and if you want to look at the install log, everything is accessible in etc/Pi-hole. The web admin interface is located here, and the login password is this temporary password here. So we're going to pull up a web browser, and we're going to go to the IP, so http://192.168.2.101/admin. And you can see here the freshly installed Pi-hole web admin interface. To log in, on the left hand side, you click login and paste in that temporary password that is provided for you. Now this is the web admin interface for Pi-hole.
Okay, so after we install the Pi-hole, you can see here this is the Pi-hole's interface, and then we're going to show you a demo of how Pi-hole works. As you can see here, this is a regular website that you would go to, like a kind of like a blog. This is for Python tips. You can see here there are many advertisements from the very top, left, and then at the bottom, all over the place. And then I would enable Pi-hole. Okay, and you guys will see the magic of Pi-hole here. And then I have a new browser open over here, and then this is the in real time that Pi-hole is enabled. Just go to that page. Okay. Okay, and you can see here it's grayed out. The advertisements are no longer there. And then you can safely browse your web without any distractions from the advertisements. Okay, so that's the magic of Pi-hole.
Today we're looking at Pi VPN. Ever wonder what to do with the Raspberry Pi? Well, I suggest you set up your own VPN at home. This way you're able to surf securely without nobody intruding into what you're doing. I'm reading here that's pretty flexible. It's an easy installation. One simple command line in the terminal and gets this Pi VPN off and running. You're able to install this on a Raspberry Pi or on a Ubuntu server running 4.0. As you can see here, you're able to install it on a Raspberry Pi, or you can install it on a Ubuntu server running at least 14.04. As you can see, it's pretty easy to install. If you ever run into any issues or any problems, there are a couple of videos and how-to guides here that will easily point you in the right direction. The management's pretty simple. Here are all the help commands and options that you're able to do within the Pi VPN application. And as always, being a free application, they're encouraging you to contribute to keep this project going on. So if you ever wondered what to do with the Raspberry Pi, I suggest you install Pi VPN. This way you are secure, and while surfing or As you can see, it's a pretty cool application. It's pretty easy to install. It's secure. And if you ever catch yourself being at a hotel or out where you don't trust a Wi-Fi connection, PiVPN will come in handy for you.
So here we are, SSH to the Raspberry Pi. A couple assumptions here is you have Raspberry Pi updated and online. You have SSH enabled, and you have set the VPN port on your router to do port forwarding. So to do the installation, we'll do the curl command, which is this here, and we'll pipe it to bash, and we'll hit enter. So here it's downloading the packages from the internet, and we're going to start the installation process. So as you can see, it's starting to install the packages. Depending on which version of Raspberry Pi and how much RAM you have, the speed will make a difference. And if you're using Wi-Fi or connecting a Ethernet wire, that will also have a factor in the speed of your installation. Okay, so this is the automated installer, and let's run through the process. So we're going to hit enter to continue. In this demo, we're using DHCP, but it should be set with a static IP. Here, it's reviewing the IP address configuration. So 192.168.30.15, it's the current IP address, and with .1 is the current gateway. That is correct, so we're going to say yes. And here it's going to say there could be a possible conflict of IP addresses because we have it in DHCP. So one way to mitigate it is using a static IP, or the other way is to use DHCP reservation. In this case, we're going to stick with DHCP since this is a demo. We are going to use local users that will hold our OpenVPN configurations, which is going to be helpful in the future. In this case, we have the local user Pi, which is the only one listed here. We're going to say yes, continue. And this should have at least one open port out to the internet for unattended upgrades. In this case, we're going to say yes. Here it's cloning everything from GitHub. Okay, so here you get to choose whether you want to use TCP or UDP. If you don't know what you prefer or what you need, it's best to just leave it default with UDP. And then this is the port that you're going to use for OpenVPN. If you want to use the default port 1194, go ahead and hit enter. If you want to use your own port, remember which port you're going to use when you do port forwarding from your router. In this case, we're going to use 1194. And it's going to review, and we're going to say yes. In this portion, this is going to be going over encryption methods. We're going to say yes. And then you get to choose the level of encryption. You can use 256, 384, or 521. Depending which you pick will dictate how long it would take to generate the encryption. 256 is typically good enough and it's quicker. 521 would be longer, but if you're really paranoid, you can use that. For the sake of time of this demo, I'm going to use the default 256-bit encryption. Okay, so here you get to choose which DNS server you would like to use the clients that were to connect to your device use. Here you can use a public IP address of a DNS server, or you can use a public DNS of your choosing. In this case, we're going to go with the defaults. And then from here, you get to choose which one you want, depending on which provider. If you have something cool like Pi-hole enabled at home, you can use that so that your clients can utilize Pi-hole and block those ads. For this demo, we're going to use Google. Okay, now with PiVPN, what is installed is the command PiVPN, and that is used to manage and maintain your VPN server. What we'll do here is we'll run PiVPN add to create user profiles and to maintain the server. So here it's going to say, please reboot the server. We highly advise you to do so. But for this demo, we're going to say no, just to jump straight into what PiVPN can do. So if we type PiVPN, you can see here all the different functions that PiVPN can do. In this case, we're going to say PiVPN minus A for add. And then we're going to say test for the name of the client. The password is going to be password. And then one more time to verify. Here is created the configuration file for the user, and it created the OpenVPN profile in /home/pi/ovpns. So if we do a ls, you can see here the directory has been automatically created for you. So if we go into there, you can see that there is test.ovpn. From here, you can export this OVPN configuration file to the client, whether it's a mobile device, a laptop, or what have you. You can use the OpenVPN client to connect back to your home network and securely browse the internet.
So our third demo is for a application called OpenVAS. It's an open source software which you can download, and then this can be somewhat comparable to Qualys, Nexus, those scanning tools out there. So this will be kind of like a lightweight agent on your host. So OpenVAS is a vulnerability scanning tool. It scans all the vulnerabilities that are on your servers. If you have a big network with many workstations, servers, and then you would ideally want to find what are the vulnerabilities on there and then to patch them in real time. So so this tool has a database. They categorize the vulnerabilities based on that database with CVSS score, and then it'll rank the severity, and then you would want to patch the one with the higher severities first to reduce down the number of vulnerabilities that are in your environment, because those vulnerabilities can be exploited, and then there could be bugs and then errors in the system that can be detrimental to your applications.
So we're going to install OpenVAS, and we're going to install this on a ESXi server running 6.7. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a virtual machine, and we're going to name it OpenVAS-demo. The operating system type will be Linux. The guest operating system will be other Linux 64-bit. And we're going to continue. Here I'm going to install it in one of my data stores. And what we're going to do is we're going to give this 2 CPUs and 2 gigabytes of memory. And just for fun, we're going to give this 24 gigs of hard drive space. To install OpenVAS, I have also uploaded the ISO to my data store. We're going to use that to do the install. So GSM and next and finish. Now we're going to launch OpenVAS, and we're going to run through the install process. Here is the OpenVAS Security Manager setup. We're going to hit enter to install GSM. It's going to warn you about formatting the disk. We're going to say yes, continue. And now what we're going to do is we're going to install the community version. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose admin as the administrative user, and we're going to set the password as password. If you don't type a password, a random one will be generated for you. Once it's installed, you're going to reboot the virtual machine, and we're going to eject the CD before rebooting. Okay, now we're in the grub menu and we'll boot into Greenbone OS. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to log in as admin, and our password is password. Okay, now that we have the GSM login, what we're going to do is we're going to log in as admin before we even go to the web browser and go to that IP. And we're going to type password as our password because we need to finish setting this up. So here is the setup wizard. It's saying that it's not fully functional, so we want to complete the setup. So we're going to say yes. No web user has been created yet, so we're going to go ahead and create web admin now. And we're going to name it as web admin, and for this demo we're going to give password as the password. Okay, the user has now been created, and this is asking for a subscription key. Because we're using the community version, we're going to skip this. If you have purchased a subscription from Greenbone, this is where you would add the key. In this case, we're going to say no, don't download the feed because we don't have a subscription. We're only using the community version. And then now it's all complete. So we're going to hit log out and say yes. Now we get to log into this IP address here, 192.168.2.109. And we're going to continue. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to log in with the web admin that we created. So web admin and the credentials that we gave, which is password. Here we have the dashboard for Greenbone Security Manager, OpenVAS. Now that OpenVAS has been launched and we're in the web interface, what we're going to do is we're going to start the first scan. So on the top, by hovering over scan and tasks, we'll go to a new page, and this dashboard shows us the number of scans that were done, sorted by severity. If there are a number of severities, it will show which task had the highest amount, and the tasks that are sitting there by status. Here you can see that I had one scan already completed at this time frame, and you can see reports, and you can also go back and rerun that scan if needed. In this case, we're going to do a normal scan. If we go over the task wizard here, click that, and we can scan by the host IP, or we can go scan the entire network. So if we want to scan the entire network of 192.168.20, we would put this in CIDR notation, like so. But in this case, we want to scan the OpenVAS server itself. So I'm going to give it its IP of 109.